Breaking news tonight from the Baltic front lines, where American paratroopers and NATO allies are conducting some of the most intense combat medical drills ever seen in Europe. This is Defender 25, the US Army's largest European exercise, and we're taking you inside the high-stakes training that could mean the difference between life and death in a future conflict with Russia. Our cameras embedded with the 173rd Airborne Brigade captured dramatic footage today as smoke filled the air at Lithuania's Vepriai Rocket Base. The scenario, a simulated Russian missile strike, has just devastated a forward operating base. Dozens of screaming casualties litter the battlefield, their uniforms soaked in Hollywood blood as medics race against time. This isn't just theater, it's a chillingly realistic preview of what modern warfare might look like. The location couldn't be more significant. Vepriai sits just 30 miles from the Belarus border, in a region that's become ground zero for NATO's eastern flank defense. With Russian forces conducting their own nuclear response drills just across the border, these American and Lithuanian troops aren't just training, they're sending Moscow an unmistakable message. Here's how today's mass casualty drill unfolded. At 0600 hours, the 173 Rhodes Quick Reaction Force secured the blast zone while Lithuanian special forces set up a perimeter. Then came the real test. Roll 2 enhanced medical teams from 5 nations had to establish a fully functional trauma center in just 22 minutes. Our cameras captured a gut-wrenching moment as surgeons from the 160th Forward Resuscitative Surgical Detachment performed an emergency thoracotomy on a patient with a simulated punctured lung, all while loudspeakers blasted the sounds of incoming artillery. The numbers tell the story: 87 simulated casualties processed in under 3 hours. 19 emergency surgeries performed in mobile tents. 12 blood transfusions administered by the 7,384th Blood Support Detachment using walking blood banks. And perhaps most crucially, 6 medical evacuations conducted under electronic warfare conditions that jammed all communications. We spoke exclusively with Captain Elena Rodriguez, a trauma surgeon who did 3 tours in Afghanistan. This is next-level training. In Kabul we dealt with IED blasts one at a time. Here we're preparing for mass casualties from cruise missiles, with limited supplies and no guarantee of backup. Her hands were still shaking from performing back-to-back amputations in the simulated field hospital. The historical parallels are impossible to ignore. 30 years ago, these same fields saw Soviet troops conducting exercises. Today, American paratroopers train alongside Lithuanian special forces in what can only be described as a complete geopolitical reversal. Retired General David Vepriai told us, "When I commanded the 173rd in Iraq, we couldn't have imagined training like this. The medical lessons from Ukraine have changed everything. We now know 90% of combat deaths occur before reaching a surgeon. The military impact is staggering. New protocols tested today could reduce combat fatalities by 40% according to Pentagon studies. The 519th Field Hospital demonstrated a revolutionary split-based concept where surgical teams deploy forward while keeping critical assets further back. And Lithuanian medics proved they can now meet NATO's gold standard for battlefield care, a capability that didn't exist a decade ago. Politically, these drills are a powder keg. Moscow has already denounced them as provocative war games. But Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin fired back today. There's nothing provocative about saving lives. Our medics aren't threatening anyone. They're preparing to rescue everyone, including Russian soldiers if necessary. Meanwhile in Vilnius, we're seeing unprecedented military cooperation, with Swedish Gripen jets providing simulated close air support for today's medevac operations, a first for the newly NATO-integrated nation. What comes next? Defender 25 2025 continues for 6 more weeks across 15 countries, but the real story may be what happens after. Pentagon sources confirm plans to permanently station 2 forward surgical teams in the Baltics by 2026. Lithuania is investing $200 million in new medical infrastructure. And perhaps most telling, Ukrainian observers here are taking detailed notes, adapting these lessons for their own brutal war. As night falls at Vepriai, the simulated blood is being washed away. But the implications remain. In one unforgettable moment today, we watched as American and Lithuanian medics, exhausted after 8 hours of non-stop trauma drills, spontaneously embraced. No translators needed. That's the real message here. In the face of growing threats, NATO isn't just building defenses, it's building something far more powerful, a brotherhood of healers ready to stare down the horrors of war. This is more than training. This is the future of warfare, where survival depends not just on weapons, but on the skill and courage of those who stand ready to mend what war destroys. Reporting from Vepriai Rocket Base, Lithuania, for our national audience, this is the reality of American military power in 2025.
Slow.